What's a common courtesy?
Is she coming?
Power outlet.
She is.
On the right hand
Is
side.
Sergi coming or do I shut
She
the door?
is.
Oh, kind of like
Oh,
you grab a salad plate and all
Right,
that.
yeah.
Drink water.
It's like when I go to the movie
I think
theater.
you go left because I got a left.
No,
Wait,
it's
but there's
the
no.
right
I think you go
side.
right. I think you go right.
It's the right side. Well,
But you can lock the door. Just kidding.
I want to make sure she's coming. Because she's got a plate and a computer and everything. I don't want to have to figure out the door.
I just brought mine over here too. So.
Let it up, Kevin.
oh, it's right.
For streaming, we need to turn off the chat. Should she decide to show up?
Yes.
You can dress them up.
Thank you for the. That is not an agenda. I know, it's
Just
like
some-
it's local.
And I think we are we, is our video? Okay, we are, the video is live. 5:31, so it's time.
Too much.
Ready?
I would like to call to order the Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. Are there any speakers related to the closed session topics?
Never re-stand, but I'm not sure if it's closed session or open session.
Okay. Closed
I
session.
believe it's gonna be open session. but it shouldn't be discussed.
Okay, are you able to
There.
message them and find out?
No, we'll have to just let her talk.
Right now? Oh, that's fine.
Stephanie Burrell.
Stephanie Burrell, your hand is up. You're invited to unmute yourself.
Hi, hello. I have a comment related to the bargaining process. Would that be the time to make it?
No, that would be at 6:30.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Are there any more speakers?
Only IRG. And then.
It's in
That's it.
Okay, the board will now convene open session, we're out from closed session. Live streaming on YouTube will begin now for the open session of the Board of Education meeting. The URL for YouTube live streaming will be found on the NHUSD Board of Education webpage. If you are joining us online via the Zoom webinar and you would like to provide public comment for this meeting, you may do so by utilizing the raise your hand option in Zoom. Or if you are calling in by phone, please press *9 and wait to be called on. Community members may still provide public comments to the board prior to each meeting via email at publiccomment@nhusd.k12.ca.us. There were no comments provided to the board for tonight's meeting via the public comment email address. I'd like to remind the public that we will not be responding to questions posed by those making public comments. Relative to item 3.1, the board in closed session approved the agreement to extend feasibility period of agreement for purchase and sale of real property and escrow instructions between Hayward Area Recreation and Park District and the New Haven Unified School District. This document extends the feasibility period for the district's sale of the field of Conley Caraballo High School to Hayward Area Recreation and Park District for 21 days to April 25th, 2022. Relative to items 3.2 through 3.5, there was no action taken by the board in closed session. And now I'd like to hand over the gavel to the Vice President, Michael Gonzalez, to lead the next session of our meeting.
All right, procedural items. We can rise for the Pledge of Allegiance or take a knee. Go ahead and turn towards the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Calderon,
Present.
Canlis,
Here.
Ishihira,
Here.
Shima,
Here.
Gonzalez,
Here.
Schmidt-Mallory.
Here.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda?
I move. I second.
Discussion? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Calderon,
Aye.
Canlis,
Aye.
Ishihira,
Aye.
Shima,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Schmidt-Mallory.
Aye.
All right, land acknowledgement. Okay, we want to open up this meeting by acknowledging with respect and love that the land we are on today is the traditional ancestral homeland of the Ohlone Chochenyo First People. We recognize and thank the Ohlone people as the original stewards of this land. Indigenous people must not be spoken about in the past context as if they left on their own accord, when the real causes were white supremacy, manifest destiny, and U.S. colonization. I recognize we stand on occupied indigenous territory of the Ohlone people. We recommit ourselves to listen to Native leadership and stand in solidarity with people struggling against systems of oppression throughout the world, past and present. Okay, now I turn it back over to President Schmidt now, right?
Right, thank you.
All right, we're now on item 6.1, which is public comment, hearing of visitors on topics not on the agenda. So that means it's not on our agenda tonight. A reminder that if you are on Zoom and you wish to give public comment, you will use the raise your hand function. If you're calling in, you will press *9. And if you're here, you will bring a blue card forward. Okay, so are there any blue cards for topics that are not on the agenda? Are there any speakers via Zoom that wish to address the board on topics that are not on the agenda?
We have 2 raised hands, 3 raised hands.
Okay,
Stephanie Burrell is first.
okay, Stephanie Burrell, please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, my name is Stephanie Brill, and I'm a teacher at the adult school. For the first time, the adult school is represented in the union district bargaining process. We are pleased to finally be a part of the union. My colleagues have referred to feeling like second-class teachers because for years and currently, we make so much less than other teachers in the district. We do not receive the same sick leave or credit for our educational level in our salary as other district teachers do. Why is our work valued differently? We are fully licensed, highly educated, dedicated, and hardworking, just like other teachers in the district. The time has come for adult school teachers to earn pay commensurate with other district teachers. I would like to thank the NHTA bargaining team for their hard work on our behalf and their support. The adult school is a valuable asset in the community that provides a range of vital services to a diverse student body. I currently teach students ages 17 to 70 who were born in 10 different countries, some of whom are refugees. They find a supportive home at the adult school and a launch pad into pursuing their educational, community, and professional goals. Unfortunately, the district has been steadily decreasing its funding to the adult school over the last years, citing budget shortages. Luckily, this year the district is receiving funds from the state earmarked for the adult school. I hope that this is reflected in significantly increased funding this year to support not just the maintenance, but the growth of our school. We no longer need to function in a scarcity model, and our teachers need to see their work fully valued by the district so that they can continue to serve our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker?
The next speaker is Zubaida Dalwood.
Zubaida Dawood.
Apologize for the pronunciation.
Please unmute yourself. You'll have 2 minutes.
Okay, we have to promote her to panelists because she's just going to task for a moment.
Please hold 1 moment. We have to promote you to panelists.
Hello, my name is Zubaida Dawood. I was born and raised in Afghanistan.
We can't hear you. I'm sorry. Give us a minute to fix the volume.
Safina.
Are you ready?
Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you better now. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Zubaida Dawood. I was born and raised in Afghanistan. I've been here for over 4 years. I'm a New Haven adult school student. This school has taught me a great deal. I had almost no idea what I was doing when I arrived in the US until I came to this school. And now I can virtually speak English and comprehend what others are saying. I'm capable of resolving my issues. For example, if I go to the doctor, I can discuss my concern with them. Teachers at this school, on the other hand, are the kindest and most loyal. They are really helpful to students and work hard with them. I give a great and big thanks to my teachers who, for example, Miss Melissa, Mr. J. Handy, and Miss Stephanie. They were the ones who inspired me and worked tirelessly with me. I'd like to express my gratitude to Miss Stephanie. She is the best teacher I have ever had, and it is thanks to her and the other teachers here that I'm close to achieving my goals and I'm able to speak, read, and write English. My request is to please do everything you can support the adult school. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much for your comments. Do you have any more comments?
We have one more speaker, Kimberly DeBono.
Kimberly DeBono, you unmute yourself, you have 2 minutes.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes. Can't now.
That's for Ms. DeBono.
Mr. Bono?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Hi, good evening, NHUSDA or NHUSD board members. My name is Kimberly DeBono, and I'm a 3rd grade teacher at Kitayama, as well as the VP of NHTA. Our NHTA President Joe will be handing each of you a packet, which includes letters from each site with our members' signatures and their desire to settle this contract. I am speaking tonight on behalf of our members at all sites and levels. We support our bargaining team and encourage you to set an expectation of settling a fair contract with the teachers. Through this pandemic, students, teachers, counselors, psychologists, speech pathologists, and TOSAs have championed through all the daily challenges and pivots each day has brought, and quite honestly continue to bring. We continue to provide our students with quality instruction and a nurturing environment to help them learn and flourish. We continue to work on academics with not only the mind in mind, but also their hearts. We hope you all consider and acknowledge that over the last year now, there are many financial burdens and stressors that have impacted our members. Teachers are leaving in droves across the country, and it is not because of the kids. They are the best part of the job. I hope that the decisions made are in the best interest of keeping highly qualified and diversified teachers and making a commitment to provide smaller class sizes for the benefit of our students and their well-being, both academically and emotionally. We all know that the district's finances have never been stronger. We have all seen the patterns of how negotiations goes and declarations of the sky is falling. Well, in the last 2 years, it has felt like the sky was falling. But you had and hopefully will continue to have staff who put children at the center while sacrificing their own social emotional needs. We expect the district to use its healthy reserves to make commitments and investments in staff and students that demonstrate an appreciation of the undying work that continues to happen despite all the obstacles. The pandemic may be close to over, I'm almost done, but the aftermath is not. We need to continue investing in the social emotional component.
I'm sorry, unfortunately, it's been 2 minutes.
Thank you. With great open expectations. Thank
you. Do we have any more speakers?
There are no more speakers.
Okay. All right, so next we will hear speakers on topics which are on the agenda. So if you wish to speak on a topic on the agenda, you can raise your hand on Zoom, you can press *9, or you can submit a blue card at the front if you are in person. Do we have any speakers on topics which are on the agenda?
We do. We have President Angeles.
President Angeles, you have 2 minutes.
Good evening, President, Vice President, members of the board, student reps, Dr. Thompson, district staff, folks here in the gallery and at home. Again, I put my topic on the agenda because obviously we know there's a standing item for bargaining discussion. I didn't want to comment on that. I think, like Ms. DeBono said, I think it's very much a place where we have, all of us have our eyes on the conversation. The site letters show that the staff is very much concerned about moving forward. I think what I will say this, the conversation at this point has been very collaborative. And I am, as well as the team, very appreciative of that consideration for the conversation. We both recognize in a very different way how we need to look at priority of the finances of the district. I think we're at a point where hopefully we can agree that we can come to a conclusion in a traditional fashion, not like a historical fashion. And I say that because, typically we don't get into kind of a decision into really late in a 3-year conversation. I'm hoping, and as well as I know in the conversations with the district team, we're all hoping to get a resolution as soon as possible. But again, like Ms. DeBona said, I think the eyes is on the way we kind of relook at and examine our priorities of finance, because we are aware, like everyone's aware, that the financial picture is a little bit different, although shaky. But I think we're all kind of progressing that I think we can get to a decision. So we look forward to continue the collaborative start to this conversation, and also even more so look forward for all of us and the teacher rank as well as the rest of the district to have a nice resolution in recognition of our efforts over this crazy pandemic years, which stretched all of us to the edge, but we're still here. So again, I appreciate your understanding and look forward to the continued conversation with the district for a concert resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Angeles. Do we have any speakers on Zoom?
There are no speakers.
No more speakers. Seeing that we have no more speakers, we will move on to item 8.1. This is the proposed reorganization of alternative programs. Who will be presenting?
I'll start, and then Mr. Pisani will kind of walk through the specifics. But as I think the board knows, I know the board knows, part of our goal 1 and goal 2 is to try to improve services for those students in terms of options for their educational success, and also to streamline and coordinate services for students, families, and our community. And when we've taken progressive steps to do this, we've combined, as you know, we've moved to central enrollment, the student services, and the UCFC all together at Barnard White. We've moved the adult school and some of our other DSIS and now our PLA over there as well. This reorganization does 2 things. It puts our CCHS, Carvalho High School, and under the umbrella of that structure that we're recommending being changed from alternative programs to educational options. One of the things we've learned through the pandemic is that having different routes for students to access K-12 education shouldn't be an alternative, it should just be an option. So we're kind of rebranding that and then moving CCHS under that structure. So the director of educational options would now be overseeing all of the different option programs over there. It wouldn't change anything from a day-to-day basis for CCHS, but it would help create the pathway through between our programs, make it easier for students and families. And with that, I think I'll turn it over to Mr. Pisani, and we have a brief PowerPoint that shows you what that looks like.
Here we go. And good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Thompson. I'm going to continue to build on our conversation about our proposal for educational options. And really the foundational decision is to be able to coordinate services and provide clarity around the options for our secondary and adult students. That really becoming the motivation for this proposal for restructuring and really creating a robust umbrella of options for again, our secondary students as well as adults. In our current organization right now, we do have a director of alternative programs. Currently in that position is Grace Kim, and she provides administrative oversight to the Dakota School for Independent Study, the Personalized Learning Academy, which is a part of the Dakota School for Independent Study, as well as the New Haven Adult School. In the New Haven Adult School, currently there have 5 program manager positions, focusing in different strands of educational options: English as a second language, high school diploma, accountability, professional development, and career technical education. In the proposed organizational structure, again, we would create a director of educational options, where the director would be primarily providing administrative support and oversight for the Dakota School for Independent Study, which would also again include the Personalized Learning Academy, as well as our summer program options, both for credit recovery as well as for enrichment. This director would also provide oversight for and work collaboratively with the principal at Carabello High School, and then also a position, the coordinator of educational options. And this coordinator would primarily provide oversight for the adult school, as well as career technical education, both for our secondary students as well as our adult students. As I remarked earlier, currently there are 5 positions. This would be a reduction of 3 program managers, focusing on ESL, high school diploma, and accountability, and the shifts of the other 2, which currently are vacant positions, would be folded into the coordinator as well. So they would provide direct support to the adult school programs as well. And so with that, if there are any questions, we'll be happy to respond.
So if I just add a couple of things. So one of the goals of having the coordinator position is you can see the cost is offset somewhat by the by not filling the 2 program manager positions. And we're also really hoping to expand the scope and services of our adult ed program and our CTE programs to provide, to look for other options for students, such as certification programs, coding, different, there's a variety of different programs that are out there, and to really look at better, not only providing options for our students, but, meeting the needs of the community, and that includes fee-based programs that ultimately should help offset the cost of this additional position. We started, if you remember, at the beginning of our strategic plan journey, we had 4 administrative positions housed under this. We reduced down to 2, and it was a good time to do it during COVID, but we've seen the need. We're really going to make our adult school and CTE programs, expand them and make them vibrant. We need the coordinator position. We need to add that back. So we went from 4 to 2, and this would bring it back to 3, which is still 1 fewer administrative positions than we started with 2 years ago.
Any questions from the board? Member Chima?
So can you give me some examples of the CTE programs at our, are they at adult school or are they somewhere else too?
So some examples of CTE could be, for example, our offerings in coordination with Mission Valley ROP, our options of our new relationships, both with Ohlone and Chabot, with the options that we are offering our students currently, continuing to broaden and expand those options for students as well. Those are just 2 options.
And again, we're hoping to even expand that to potentially bringing in and look for, and this person will be charged with looking for, some other certification. We have Silicon Valley right down the road, and there are a number of programs out there. They change from time to time, but looking and trying to attract and draw in both tech-based programs, and even perhaps look at collaborating with some of the Alameda Building and Trades Council, for example, to look at some trades programs that we might be looking at. So we really hope to grow those types of programs, either under the umbrella of the adult school and or through our CTE pathways.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So if you take a look at the Hayward Adult School or the Fremont Adult School, they have, so many numerous programs. If you see in our adult schools, I would like to see, like we have said, some previous programs or many more. There are many more opportunities for us to provide those services. So thank you so much for focusing on this side of the operation, and hopefully we will see some good programs in the city. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I just have comments. I like the part where we are changing the word alternative to options, because the word alternative has gotten some reputation in the past that are not always positive, and the option is much more open because it's giving the students another way of achieving something and become successful at it. And in addition, you mentioned all the potential of a partnership with the community and providing students other options. Not everybody wants to go to college, right? So if we have other options of partnering with our community, especially Silicon Valley, what wonderful way to provide those options to our students. And also savings in the restructuring, so that every penny counts. So thank you for this new structure. I like it. It's cleaner and the possibilities are much more larger. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Pisani. The next section is information items, section 9. 9.1 is the board resolution update. So, in February 2022, the Board of Education passed a resolution honoring Women's History Month. Our school sites engaged in activities honoring this month throughout the month of March. And now Dr. Thompson will present to us some of the activities that our students engaged in.
And again, this is more just for your leisure, but we can quickly go through. If you want the, we can just take a quick tour through. Again, this will be a standing item when we have the separate resolution. So, and I don't have the, I don't know if we want to just go, you can maybe just go quickly through the slides. I don't, you know, it's,
Want me to get you the-
oh, is it?
I could.
Yeah. And again, we don't, this isn't a formal board presentation. It's more of just an information item for your review. Thank you. So, you know, this isn't all, by no means is this, this, everything that happens, just, you know, the different activities that some of our schools share with us, from Dakota and Kittyama. You know, again, you can scroll through these at your leisure and get a broader look. It's here for anybody who wants to take a deeper look. And again, they, you know, there's every school does something different. You know, Kittyama likes to do or Pioneer, I'm sorry, and they have the podcast format, which is pretty cool. So check that out. Everybody has their own way of doing things. So again, what we're trying to do is just share with the community that we're really trying to bring these resolutions to, or, well, we have been bringing them to life in our classrooms, but not everybody sees that. So this is just, again, a quick tour through. And you can go and see even more of the resources we provide at the site. So this is all here for your review or anybody else that wants to look at it.
Thank you. Member Kenneth?
Yeah, I just want to give all the schools, the students, and everyone a huge thank you. I know I've been such a pain when it came to women history, not history, herstory. This is, I had so much fun reading everything there. So thank you for sharing what you've been doing. I promise not to be such a pain in the future, and I think you're on the way.
Not a pain at all.
Okay, anybody else?
So, I just want to know that this will be the protocol for all of the resolutions, so how does that work?
For all the ones where we're able where the resolution has a direct impact in the classroom, it'll depend on the resolution. Some, for example, like Black History Month, there are resources that are already, it's a well-established one. For other ones that are maybe not quite as developed, I'm not sure. We'll play it by ear for everyone that we can.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you very much. The next is 9.2, our continuity of services plan. And I believe that will be Dr. Thompson.
Yeah, this is just a later in the agenda, we're asking the board to approve what was our reopening plan. We are, every 6 months, we try to, or sooner, we try to revise it based on changing information. So the big change this time is that it's no longer called our reopening plan because we've been open. And the other thing, because the conditions particularly, well, throughout the pandemic, they've changed, but right now everything is, it's really, what's happened is the curation of different resources and guidelines and requirements have all kind of been fine-tuned. So you'll see throughout this document that most of these areas, what we're doing is pointing anybody who's interested to the current guidance that's available and captured. Again, you've heard me say many times throughout the pandemic that Alameda County Office of Ed has done an outstanding job of putting together the best guidance, school guidance out there. So most of the adjustments here, we're kind of tweaking some language and President Mallory pointed out that even with that, there was still a little tweak we made to our ventilation piece because we have no 13 filters in all of our classrooms. So anyway, it's just an update to where we are now. There's really nothing earth-shaking here.
Yes, Member Kenneth and then Member Chima.
Although there is the newest news from the county and from the governor's office to push back on the requirement.
All right, the vaccination requirement, yeah, and again, if you look in there, the vaccinations, it basically says we're gonna follow the guidance from the state.
Member Timur?
So, I believe this is the, after the pandemic, so we have to develop this plan, right? So ongoing, it will be there, depending on what kind of emergency or hopefully not any more pandemic, but in case there is another kind of similar situation. When I was looking at the name continuity of services, it makes sense that our services are continued. But I was thinking, if the board will take a look at the staff, take a look, continuity of service plans after any emergency or any pandemic. So it's kind of more specific for the public to know that what it means. Just take a look at, just say, feedback.
Are you asking us to take a look now at the, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking.
No, this is the information item only, so just for the name of the plan.
Okay, yeah, what we've tried to do is mirror the name of the plans with the current guidance. And so one of the reasons why it's important for us to update this every so often is the ESSER funds that we have are tied to making sure we have an updated plan. And currently, the language out there is to call these types of plans continuity of services plans. So we're trying to make sure that we have the plan, but that the language, the name of the plan, the language in it is consistent with the budgetary requirements that we have to make sure if somebody looks back and audits us, they can see that we continue to move forward. So that's where that name comes from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board questions? All right, we will go to 9.3. Information item on the sale of the Conley Carabao High School CCHS field to Hart.
I can tackle this one too.
Yeah.
So as we've been pretty public about our Hart's desire to purchase the field next to CCHS. And earlier this year, the board approved a sales agreement, an agreement of, probably saying it wrong, but an agreement to pursue the sale of that piece of land to Hart. There were several pieces that that the board made sure that we put in there. One, the most important one for us is that even though we sell that property to Hart, that we retain the ability to use that land during school hours. And so later in the agenda, you'll see 3 of the agreements that we've reached with Hart that are conditions of sale. And the first is, again, our ability to use the land. Hart is also requested in a reciprocal fashion to be able to use our parking lot during non-school hours, because when they access that field, and we've agreed in exchange to do that, to enter into an agreement that would allow them to do that. And the third piece that's in the agenda later on is the utilities access agreement. And basically what that means is that for any utilities that cross the new land boundaries, that we would have the ability to access them as we need to. For example, they're going to assume the watering of that field and the maintenance of that field, that the water lines run through our property. So if there's a leak, they would be able to access, have the ease of access to get in there. And conversely, if there's something that is in their end of the property, an electrical line or something like that, or maybe one of our water lines, we would be able to go and have access to those utility lines there. So those are the 3 items that are there. We are in escrow right now with Hart, and this is one of the final pieces that we need to sign off on before the official sale and transfer of the property. There's an action. Those are the 3 action items coming up late in the agenda.
Any questions? Thank you very much. Moving on to item 9.4, discussion for a potential bond measure for November 2022. So staff's going to share information about feasibility of a revenue measure. This helps.
Sorry.
Good evening, members of the board and guests, and Superintendent Thompson and President Schwinn Mallory. Annette Heldman, I'm your Chief Business Officer, we're too tall. So this is information item also. It is actually a revisit of a topic that the board and staff have engaged in different forums in the past. As you can see, it is, there's a topic that is coming near us, which is the November 2022, well, actually 2022 election in general. So this is the same piece of information that was presented to the Budget and Finance Committee in November. And again, from that meeting, we actually did hold a board study session. So this had been presented and it's actually been available to the public on our website as part of the notes from that meeting. So I will spend some time on certain pieces of this that are, again, it would allow the board to discuss this topic, give that opportunity to discuss it further. And again, I'm just moving fast to the items that I think would be worth looking into again. Prior discussions have centered around the different types of revenue measures that school agencies like us can pass. And in previous meetings, we've talked about the pros and cons and the merits of each one of those, and that is showing on the screen. We've also provided a profile of the passage or the success rate of these two different types of revenue measure, which of course is either a parcel tax measure or a general obligation bonds, showing the profile for the passage rate in Alameda County. This slide is specific to us, the New Haven Unified School District, with regards to our debt service, going back all the way to the first general obligation bond that was passed in 1987. We've added information in terms of from the very beginning and what has dropped off or what has been paid off. So of note there, as you can see, in August of next year, we usually pay those in August, or by September of 2023, Measure A would drop from the books. So from the 1987 bond, all the authorizations, if we add all of them up, it would be 346 million, including the last authorization in 2014. Given all the payments, and like I said, some of them have fallen off the books, that number of 346 is now down as of last year to 229 million. Now, some of these numbers may have changed because these were snapshot information with regards to the assessed valuation in our community at that time in terms of AV growth and what the projected growth is. We've seen a really crazy housing market in the last year. So some of these may have changed from the last time that we looked at this in November. What did not change, but will be smaller in another year, would be the outstanding debt service. This one shows the efforts and the engagement that this board had done with regards to this topic. What is not there, of course, is the November 15 discussion that we held and the board study session that was held subsequent to the November 15 Budget and Finance Committee. So these were the different times and forums that this topic was discussed. And if you may recall, this really was the question that we were exploring at that time. While this is an information item, it's giving the board an opportunity to revisit this topic. Now, this is another piece of information that is critical to look at. At the time, we presented what the timeline would look like should we decide as a school district and as the board to go for a June or a November 2022 election. So time has come and gone, so we need to revisit these dates depending on what the board might decide based on the discussion that will take place from this point on. And I believe that was the end of that conversation. So again, it's a revisit of this topic. I can entertain any questions.
Do you have any questions from the board? Number 2.
On slide 7, If you can please explain about the average annual AV growth and projected AV growth outlook. So what does these both numbers mean?
So this is the assessed valuation growth of our community. So the projection one, of course, that could change, but what we were looking at from the 10-year spread is our valuation of our properties in the city went up by 4.4%. And why this is important is when we go out for an authorization or we request our taxpayers to support us in terms of a revenue measure, the size of what we can go out for will be dependent on our assessed valuation.
Thank you. Any questions? No. So I know this is just an information item. There's no action right now, but the proposal in this presentation is for the November 2022 election. It's too early. We are just towards the hopefully tail end of the pandemic, and communities, they are recovering. And as we all know, inflation, what's happening to the costs and everything, and then California is one of the highest taxings that we have seen it, that we have lost the population and lost one congressional seat. So there is there's a hard effect we are seeing. And then locally in our city, Union City is one of the 6 cities in California which has met its cap. Cities that have raised the taxes. So we have high taxes in Union City as well. And on top of that, we have sold one school, we still have some funds available. And then we have sold another property, we are in the process of selling it. So we have some funds available to take care of the facilities. I sent the information to the superintendent as in my comments for this board meeting. There is a resolution of the legislature AB 75. If you know anything about it, if you can share some information about that. This is also regarding the school facilities bond at the state level, which will be one of the massive, it's a 12 billion, not million, $12 billion bond school for the school facilities, which is will be on the ballot. So how much tax we can ask people to approve? We have need to take a look at it. So in my personal opinion, I think that this is, and we still have some funds left over from the last bond, so we're working on it to take up the facilities. So instead of having this for this election year, we need to postpone it for the future elections. This is just for my personal comments and opinion. I just want to share it at this time.
Can I say something? Yeah, I mean, that's a good segue to the last thing that you mentioned with regards to the current bond program that we have. We've been very fortunate that this community have been very supportive of that. And it shows in our schools, in our facilities. I mean, improvement of facilities is an ongoing task. And again, we thank the New Haven voters for supporting us in that. And as you can see, we are one of the best districts in the county, not just in terms of the programs that we have, but in terms of our facilities. So that's one thing that I just wanted to point out. With regards to AB 75, I'm not sure if that's the same one. I forget the number, but there was one of the proposals from the governor is actually taking from the state general fund, first time ever that I am aware of in which it's not coming from state bond, that he would like to provide some facility money coming from the state general fund. So we have yet to see what happens to that in the May revise.
Okay, anybody else?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I see that you, I'm sorry, this is the first time I've seen your email. You sent it this afternoon. I haven't had a chance to check emails this afternoon. So anyway, one of the things that the conversation is kind of a good segue also to really what we're trying to get a feel from the board, how you'd like to proceed. obviously, you see the timeline. And if we are going to proceed with any type of revenue measure for November, not too late, but we're getting a sense if the board would like more information to make a decision, if we want to schedule a separate meeting, if we want to agendize it for a future meeting. That's kind of, we just need a little direction, I think, or get some thoughts from the board that way.
Member Thomas.
That's what I was gonna talk about. I was looking at the timeline and, April and May is, well, it's right now. So, my question is, I'm asking the board at this point, should we schedule some time soon? Because we are on April already and the resolution should be happening pretty soon, like this month, or between April and mid-May. Should we schedule some kind of board study session to discuss this so that everybody has an opportunity to voice what our next step could be? So looking at the timeline, we really need to do something at this point.
Yeah, I think if we want to move forward with the process, then we should have some separate time. But then I think the question is there a consensus to do so? To move forward, or do we all want to?
No, this is the information item only, so if we want to schedule something, then we need to have an action item in the future meeting.
You can provide me with some direction. You don't need, if you just want to carve out some time, that's something I don't think we need to make an action item. We can put that together. I just want to get a little direction on team one more time. We have a lot of meetings coming up, so we can tag something on, and then send out that publicly. It's really up to the board. I don't know what, again, you see the timeline, we need to make some types of, if we're going to move forward, we either need to make that a decision, which doesn't require necessarily action, right? Because it would take action out of a resolution. But if you need more time to talk about it, that's something that we can add on.
So, I think Member Nishimura has been up first.
Is this something that the board would like to delegate to the Budget Finance Committee for recommendation?
I do. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Member Tuna.
Yeah, certainly budget committee can take a look at any finance related matters. But this is a big decision, so I would like the full board to have the opportunity to have a discussion. So I know we are towards the year and 6 weeks stretch for all of the activities in our schools and everything. And I don't see what is the urgency? What is the urgency? What are we losing? That we have to take this action right now. So I am just asking.
We're providing guidance to the staff on what we would like to do. I personally remember that we did have a study session on this already as a board in February, in our governance session. And so, I mean, my opinion is very much that right now is not a good time to ask for a bond measure. I don't think that it would be a good use of our time to have a whole session about it if none of us feel that this is a good time to have a bond measure this year. So I think that's where we need to provide our thoughts here so that we can decide whether or not we want to schedule something for us to further discuss. So, anything else want to weigh in on that?
Well, I can speak for me, as one person in the budget committee. I would like to, we could, with help from Ms. Hilton, we could meet, I'm okay to meet actually, and then go from there.
And give a recommendation to the rest of the board.
Yeah.
At our next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could even meet, can we meet via Zoom if needed, if Mr. Trustee Gonzalez wants to. That way he can hold the baby while.
So Trustee Gonzalez, what did you say about this, since you're a member of the finance?
Well, just that we have discussed this, we've given some insight on our opinion on this when it came to the committee, but yeah, bring it back to our committee, we'll discuss it further.
So we don't have an exact date of when that next meeting is, but at the last meeting, we did agree to meet, as we are preparing for budget development, we did agree to meet sometime mid to late May. So are there any thoughts on that? Can we keep it at that date, or you want me to send out something sooner?
Maybe sooner because of that timeline. If we look at that timeline,
Okay, right, because we have the June primaries, and once those are over, we need to start, putting that information out already, so,
and if it's Zoom, we're a little bit more flexible on our time, versus coming presence. Because sometimes I'm not, able to come, but I can do it.
Sometime during the week of the 9th through the 13th, that week might work, and then we could bring the Budget and Finance Committee could bring a recommendation to the board at the May 17th board meeting. And that's still, and again, it's still, if the board decided, we could even put it on there, either the committee could recommend that there's an action item or not. We could add the action item on the May 17th board meeting to either move forward or to not, and just put it to bed or move it forward at that time. So that would be a good charge with the Budget and Finance Committee.
I will set up the meeting.
Thank you.
thank you very much. Okay. Returning to our current meeting. There we go. All right, the next item is items from the board and superintendent 9.5. Dr. Thompson, do you want to go first?
Sure, just a couple of quick ones for tonight. We talked about earlier, we're at the start of a 6-week sprint to graduation, and it's going to be busy but fun. I'm really excited that we have all of the end of the year activities in person. We also have three new events this year. We have 3 board meet and greets, and that first one is this Thursday, 5 to 6 o'clock at CCMS before the CCMS open house, where people can come out and meet all of you and you'll be there, so that's exciting. Next week, the county committee of school board, or the school board organization will be taking action on at the same time as our Celebrating Schools meeting. They'll be taking action on the map the board approved last week. It feels like that was just last week. It feels like a long time ago. And we will have, I'm not too sure, I think it might be Ms. Elmer, I haven't told her yet, she might be representing us at that meeting, just to make sure that there's a presence there, and that we can talk about that later. And then, nothing like finding out no concession, huh? That's, anyway. And then tomorrow, I know it's short notice, but our wonderful scholarship foundation is having a meeting here to honor the recipients of the scholarship award winners. And I don't know, trustee Nishiyama, if you're going to cover this in your update, but
I don't have to now.
there you go. Okay, I'll let you add to that, but that's, I know if any of you want to come, you can, but I'll let trustee Nishiyama do that in his comments, and that's it for me.
Can I ask a question about that? The scholarship winners will be at that meeting?
No, that's the grant.
That's the grant, right?
That's the cost.
Okay. Because I thought I heard you say scholarship winners. This is different from the class grants.
Oh, yes, different than, I don't want to steal trustee Nishiyama's thunder on this.
Okay, thank you. Student member Calderon, do you have any updates?
Yes, mine's definitely longer than Superintendent Thompson. I have all the end of the year activities to kind of put some, information out there. First thing, we had a lockdown at Logan on Friday. Just wanted to say thank you to UCPD, all of our admins, all the hard work. All of us were able to show some type of, hopefully, comfort being with whoever you were during lunch. I'm glad everyone's safe. And then just, I had put out there the other day with the rest of the representatives from Logan, but it's okay to seek support, whether it's from your staff, your teachers, your parents, administrators, whatever the case may be, your counselors, or even come to fellow students while we're here. We also have going on this week, I believe the nominations close on Friday for the election season for student body positions on Logan. And then I believe the announcement of all the winners should be Monday, May 2nd. Consent week is next week. I know that's something I haven't brought up in the last few meetings. We have that April 25th to 29th. I think right now we do not have a speaker. We chose to go with a alternate route, kind of to get more engaging, more interactive booths during lunch, just so it's a little bit more comforting for all of our students to be able to participate, not really just someone standing, you know, in the pavilion and speaking at them. In addition to that, prom tickets are on sale right now. They're at the cheapest price, so you can do cash, check, any of that. We will definitely, you know, love to sell you a ticket. Prom info, I think, was already shared as well. I remember getting some information about that to the district, but May 7th, San Jose Tech Museum, 7:30 to 11:30, and then we actually just got word, I believe, last Thursday or Friday, the vaccine and the masks are lifted for the venue. That's subject to change for whatever the venue or the county decides to do, if there is anything that they decide before May 7th. I will be attending the Alumni Transfers Pathway session this Thursday, next Thursday, right? Yes, next Thursday, April 28th. It's at 6 p.m. via Zoom. If you have any questions, you can email Catherine Alfaro at Alumni EDU. You can even email me and I can just send you the Zoom link. Powder Puff, we are working on that right now with our administrators and our coaches at Logan. That's scheduled for May 13th, so hopefully we can get that going. We're going to do a inventory check, see how many of our class of 2019 students have their jerseys, because I don't think we have that many. But I will have more information about that at the May 3rd board meeting. And then we also have May 6th is our Special Olympics at Logan. We will be hosting, again, Coach Maldonado will be taking lead on that with, I believe, Coach Webb as usual. I'll get more information on that as well and bring that to the May 3rd meeting, but just a little bit of information, at least a day, right? Other than that, I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to one of our student-led programs at Logan, our Ethnic Studies and Social Justice program. If any of you have seen, they are doing a 30-day affirmation challenge right now. And also fundraising with their wristbands. I'm wearing one today. I'm worthy of love. I have all 5, so I switched off the week. Just a shout out to them. All of our clubs should be coming together to do a big celebration. I believe it's scheduled for May 18th. Once I get more information on that, I'll share that with the board if anyone would like to join. There's food, celebrations, dance, educational booths. And then that kind of just leads into, you know, mental health. We have 6 weeks left, everyone's saying. You know, push through, but please remember mental health is a big deal. I'm right now on a 2-week kind of seeking how the mental health really works, how I can better assist myself and our students. It's been informational. It's been a roller coaster full of things, but mental health is important for you, for the people around you. And that's not just for our students, that's for our staff, for the community, everybody who, we're human, we have feelings, we have emotions, we have thoughts. So it's okay to kind of express all of that. Other than that, my page is filled, so I think I'm pretty good.
Thank you. Who would like to go next?
Yeah, I can go. So for me, pretty short and sweet today for this section. On April 30th, I'll be working with the Puente students and Larry O over at the Teen Center off of Mission Boulevard. We're going to be working at the garden, planting, as well as I think we might be repainting the mural on the gas station. So I'm still coordinating with them over there, but that's probably where I'll be there. And I'm looking forward to seeing the families and parents at CMS this Thursday. I got other stuff, but I'll report out that we need.
Sorry, what date is that?
4:30, so April 30th. Yes, Saturday.
So, are they open regularly now? Teen Center, they used to repair the bikes too.
Yeah, but we're just dealing with the
Gardening?
with the garden.
The community garden. All right. Who would like to go next?
Yes. So, April 14th, we had our Mission Reality meeting. Good news there that because of the flush of the funds from the state and the seat at the round, so we are in good shape, budget-wise. So, and they also want to thank the member districts for their share of contributing to the seat NBRP. And then, yesterday I was able to participate at the IDC Middle School with the ice cream, their floats, starting my celebration of the 6-week stretch. So that's good to be in the school and with the teachers. Thank you. And then also I would like to recognize that while many of our community members, they have last weekend, they have celebrated the Easter. Sikh community of the Bay Area, they also congregated in Stockton to celebrate Vaisakhi. Vaisakhi is the festival after the Guru Nanak's birth in November. This is the second most important festival for the Sikh community. And the Sikh temple in Stockton was established in 1912. There's more than 100 years. It's a historical shrine, and then it's part of the historical monuments in California. That was a celebration, and thank you, Member Calvin, for reminding us about the mental health situations and checking ourselves and our surroundings. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Cameras?
Unless.
Do you want to go first?
Thank you. All right. I would like to start with the thank yous. I have a few. Below on the action items below, we will have resolutions regarding recognizing the appreciation of our classified, certificated, and administrators. I'd like to thank this board and this district for making time to recognize what our classified do, especially during the pandemic. They work above and beyond the call of duty. And I heard so many wonderful things that they were doing because they care about our students. So thank you for what you do. I'd like to share one story of a person I met 12 years ago because I think this person needs to be recognized. A lot of times we're so quick in complaining about people when there's a complaint, but not always quick in thanking people what they do. Well, this person I met 12 years ago was at a CSBA conference in San Francisco. She was looking for me, and when she found me, she said, "Oh my God, you are tiny, you are short. No wonder I couldn't find you." And I said, I didn't know what to say to that. But then I thought, well, I guess, I don't know if she remembers this, I guess if you're standing over the shoulders of over 8,000 voters, you might sound tall. So I was asking her, why did you think I might be a tall person? But I could never forget that comment when she said, "Oh my God, you're tiny, you're short." Well, I'm okay for a short person, and I'm fine with that comment. I think deep in that comment is a nice thought behind it, so I took it as a compliment. But this person is so dedicated. The last 12 years, I hate to email or ask her for something after school or over the weekend, because I know she's going to respond to the question, and I don't want to disturb her personal time, but I think it's time to recognize her. So I would like to give our wonderful Lori Valdez for all the good things she's done. And I know I'm embarrassing her right now, but I think she needs to hear that she's appreciated. And I think she is a representative of all our wonderful classified personnel out there. So if people listening out there, I would like you to know that we appreciate you and thank you. And that goes for our certificated as well, because you too have done super job, especially you do it every day on a daily basis. But during the pandemic, a lot of you did above and beyond of what regular people working out there, I think. So I want you to know that we appreciate you. You've done a lot of wonderful things. I know what your faith is. I've been a teacher forever, it seems like. My daughter's still a teacher, so I know And I value you. Thank you for what you do. So I'd like to give our certificate a big round of applause as well. A lot of times, nobody ever commend superintendents. They're usually they usually have the biggest target on their back because at the end of the day, I don't know, if you see yours, they're responsible for, they're held responsible for what they do. But again, I would like to take this time to thank our superintendent because becoming one of the best districts in town does not happen by accident. It takes a lot of work from all the wonderful classifieds, from our wonderful teachers, and also our central office. And of course, that's because they are led by a good leader. To me, from where I'm sitting, I think you're one of the most dedicated superintendents I've ever worked with. And I've been in education for over 35 years. You're collaborative and you're very patient. There's some things, I have to emphasize the word patient. There's some things, sometimes I'm sitting and I'm listening to what people are saying to you. And I'm going, how can you just smile and do your best and tell them what you could do? So I really thank you for being so patient and really working with people and listening, a really good listener and willing to grow. And I think that part is not always a characteristic for a lot of people. The willingness to grow and to listen to all different perspectives, because I know not all closed session, well, sometimes we're really, really painful board members when it comes to talking with the superintendent, and he puts up with us and listens and looks for solutions. So, and the last one is that he really cares about our students and our staff. It's not often you have people who are student-centered and staff-centered. A lot of times they just go to work and that's it. But our superintendent, our staff, central office, our teachers, and our classified, all of you guys, we appreciate you. So thank you for what you do. And I'm so glad that this is being done in our resolution here. I would also like to thank the Advocacy and Communication Committee, because they have done so much the last few months in making our vision possible. I remember sitting with Mr. Nishihara when we were interviewing our not superintendent yet at the time. We got given them a list of things we want to see happen for our districts. And in just the last few months, years, I've seen all of those happen. And I'm really, really humbled and very glad that we have this team working together, making things happen. So kudos to you as well. Oh, and I really enjoyed every time I passed 880 and Echo and Whipple, there it was. That was one of our visions. It's just right there, advertising to increase our enrollment in our district. And I'm excited about Dr. Rios coming to work with our students and our staff. So I'm really looking forward to see the impact of his coming here. And you mentioned about the lockdown. I was also impressed by the quick communication to the board about what was happening and then continued update, because I was really worried about kids when I first heard that, and the communication was there and the update kept on coming. So thank you for doing that. It really made my life too easier, because when people are calling what's happening, it was there, and there was even a statement that tells us what we need to do and what was happening. I would like to congratulate Logan's Marcus Sanders. He has committed to one of the most prestigious football program in the country. He is attending the University of Oregon as in the football program, as he's going to be a Duck. So he's going to be wearing the green and yellow outfit pretty soon. And I think that's exciting to have a Logan graduate being in a part of a very prestigious football team. Oh, and of course, I just want to put this on record. Thank you for including her story in our presentation that the schools did. I was really excited, looking and reviewing the kids' work. That was just so wonderful. We've not, well, actually, I've not seen those before, so this is, to me, is first, so thank you for doing that. Regarding the scholarships, that's why I was kind of invested in when it's been happening. We started with 4 scholarships this year, but when we read the scholarships, we were so touched, and there was such a need that my husband and I decided to put 2 more. So we're doing 6 scholarships this year. Last 12 years, we've done 2 every year, so that brings up to a few number of scholarships. So we're glad that, and would like to know when that is. So we want to meet the students that we are awarding these things. And tomorrow I will be serving ice cream floats at the courtyard. So we'll see you at noon. And looking forward for the end of the year events. To me, these are the most, graduation are the most exciting thing to attend, because these are the products of all the work we've been doing all year. And it's just, you see parents and students all smiling and happy. And I have one last question. We've attended the WASP a meeting a few weeks ago. Maybe at some point, if we could hear about how that went at Logan. Thank you.
Thank you. And Member Gonzalez.
Yes, so Lori Valdez has a great sense of size, and she, when I met her, she said, oh, you are tall. So, tiny, tall, yeah, so she's right on, spot on with that. And Superintendent Thompson, in 2 towns, best superintendent in 2 towns, the Hayward, you're part in there, you got to put in there, and then Union City. Okay, so
I'll let Mr. Wayne know, thank you.
you didn't hear it from me, so. Yeah, so in the next couple of weeks, I'm on paternity leave right now. I'm looking forward to all the events planned, and so I'll be active. I'll be attending some of these places. Hopefully, I can bring out my son. I don't know, I'll have to check in with the wife, but yeah, so he hasn't been anywhere but the hospital and home, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, but I have nothing else to report out.
All right. So it's my turn. So I first would like to thank UCPD for making sure that our students are safe. I know when I heard about what was happening, I was in the office and I couldn't think of anything other than our students. So I really appreciate Dr. Thompson, you keeping us informed and making sure that we didn't take any risks with the lives of our students. And I also acknowledge, thank you for bringing that up, Member Calderon, that this might trigger some mental health issues for some people. And so I hope that any students or staff are feeling anxious or, having anxiety, well, anxious and anxiety, the same thing, or having any other mental health issues around what just happened, to please reach out and talk to somebody. And we have some services provided at our school sites for that. So I also want to recognize the Social Justice Academy students for these affirmation wristbands. I really want one, so I'll have to find out how to get one. And I just really think this is a great student-led measure that the students are taking to help each other. COVID's been so hard on everybody, mental health wise and emotional health wise. And I just think this is really great. So I hope that students and staff get a lot out of this, and that we'll be celebrating a shift in our thinking come May. I want to also recognize we had multiple religious observances happening this past weekend. You know, it's Ramadan, so Easter and Passover. And then you mentioned another, Vasaki, and I believe even one more.
Hanamatsuri.
Thank you. Hanamatsuri. Yeah, so I hope that everybody is enjoying and having a blessed time with all of their observances. I made all these notes kind of weird. Okay, so like Trustee Canlis, I do want to thank, and I'm just going to do it all in once because I think, you know, but all of our certificated staff, classified staff, and admin staff. You obviously are all what makes New Haven Unified School District the best district in the Bay. I'm just going to keep saying it because it's true. And I'm just so very proud to be on the school board and to work with such dedicated people who really, really love and care for all of our students. And it's really evident, you know, we may have tense moments where we want to ask for the whole world because we want our students to have every opportunity. But we are all focused on doing that, giving our students as much as we can. And our teachers are on the front lines in with the students every single day. And you are such an important role in this district. You're the main event kind of, and you know, you see those kids every day in and out, and you're so involved in their lives, and you make such a difference in their lives. So thank you. And then to our classified staff, well, none of us could do anything without you, Larry, and all our administrators and janitorial staff and et cetera. You know, you all came and stepped it up a lot during COVID, taking on extra roles, and you were very crucial to making us the best district in the Bay. And then of course, administrators, especially the ones who had to deal with me on a regular basis. Thank you all that are in the room. And our principals and assistant principals. It's just so great. We had our Celebrating Schools last Tuesday, and we got to see some of our principals, and they got to talk about what's going on in their school sites. And we are just so lucky to have such amazing, passionate administrators. So I want to congratulate James Logan High School for remaining one of the top schools in the state and the country. Go Colts. So we're in the top 15% of high schools in California, everybody out there. So if your kid goes to James Logan, you know they're getting a good education. And we're also, I think, in the top 15% in the nation, yes, according to the way this is worded. So congratulations. And again, best school district in the Bay. I'm not competitive at all. So congratulations and thank you to all of our staff. Yeah, I'm gonna go sign. So, okay, two more things. The end of the month was March 31st. We recognize Transgender Day of Visibility, and we will be passing a transgender student resolution marking March 31st as the Transgender Day of Visibility and highlighting some of the amazing transgender people in our history and in the history of LGBTQ+ rights is in this resolution. And next year it will just be on this calendar, so before it happens, I was so pleased that we were able to fly the transgender pride flag at all of our school sites for the entire week of March 28th through April 1st. And I got to go to James Logan High School on the 30th in the morning and meet some of the students there that are from the GSA. And, you know, talk about how important it is to have this representation to make sure at this time when our country is having such a spirited debate about trans people's rights without really understanding that trans people are people and everybody deserves to live with dignity and respect. And that is what is behind all of these things that we're doing here in our district, is to make sure that our transgender students feel valued and safe during their education and their time with us in the district. And that is the #1 thing that prevents suicide amongst transgender people, is having adults in their life that affirm their gender identity and support them. So thank you so much for that. And then my last update is that I will be having a coffee with your trustee this Saturday at 9:30 at Hibby's Brew on 11th Street. Not a district sponsored thing, but it's a way for me to get out there and talk to the community. And so any parents, teachers, students that want to come, please come. It's at 9:30. I'm planning to stay for at least an hour to an hour and a half. And I will have some free drip coffee there and a jug of Rick Ross. So that's first come, first served for free. So, or you can just buy whatever you want there. But shout out to Peace Brew for being so supportive. And that's it for me. That's it for everybody. All right, let's go on. We have lots of comments. Okay, so committee reports. 10.1 is report from the Budget and Finance Committee from either Member Cameras or Member Gonzalez. But you will be meeting in the next week or so.
Right.
So thank you.
Right, Ms. Sullivan will be sending us dates.
Yeah. Once those days are set, then that will show up on our list of meetings as per usual. All right, 10.2, report from the Communication and Advocacy Committee.
All right, would you like me to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so with not really a lot of fanfare, the new website launched as a product of the Communication Advocacy Committee. That was really well done, really well coordinated, and I think it really underscores something, is that we thought it was going to be this really big, heavy lift. It was big, a heavy lift, but there was some fear there that there was so much there that we were going to leave behind. We ended up not really having a ton of feedback or reaction either way, which is, I think, when you're launching a website, that's no news is good news. So I will, there was obviously some things that we had to tweak, but for the most part, it was a pretty successful launch. And this is from somebody who does this kind of stuff for a living.
I believe we're putting it up.
Oh yeah, there it
so
is.
you can see our beautiful website.
So congratulations to all that was in, all who were involved. I'd like to thank everybody on the committee working really, really hard. It's taken a while for us to get here. We're here. We still have some work to do, but it's good to start seeing some really good progress. Next, we're going to be talking about some search engine optimization as a strategy for being able to reach other families who might be interested in coming to New Haven Unified School District. Our next meeting is tomorrow from 5 to 6:30. Actually, I don't think we talked about what we did at our last meeting, which was on 3/16. We talked about search engine optimization, got a little bit of an idea of what that was. We talked about the district website. We also talked about the school site templates that we're going to be updating. And also, how do we go about bringing out press releases and increasing press coverage. So we talked about that at the last meeting. Tomorrow's agenda, we're going to be getting an update on Emmanuel's school website development and identifying the next steps for that. We also have an update on training documents and video status updates. We're also going to be talking about potentially leveraging our agency to extend brand work for our school sites. We'll talk about that and see if we can understand the requirements there and the outcomes for that. And we'll also talk about, we'll continue talking about SEO as well as digital advertising campaigns that we'll be taking forward. So that's going to be fun-filled tomorrow from 5 to 6:30, right after the grant presentation from, well, I'll get that into the next section.
Yes, thank you. And while we are presenting our website, can we just kind of scroll down so people watching from home can see? We've got our calendar up there, careers. There we go. And news, you can see the e-news down there. And pictures of our students and current events and the board schedule. So.
Well, one of the more interesting exercises was going through just the archaeology of all the stuff that was on the website. We had like, you know, I'm only half joking when I'm saying that we had like, you know, lunch menus from 2010. I don't think that was really a thing, but that's the type of thing that we unearthed during the process. But there was a lot going on. So anyway, it's very streamlined. It's clean, and it's really there to stay focused and be a reference for a lot of things. So.
Can I add something? Mr. Nishihara, when he first brought this up, before we hired Dr. Thompson and we made sure he knew what we were thinking, Mr. Nishihara showed all the websites all over the place, we're all over the place, and we didn't have any central message. And he goes, look at this.
Yeah.
So we presented, well, when we interviewed Dr. Thompson, that was one of the things we said, we can't have this. So this is great. Thank you so much.
Come along. Thanks.
Yes.
Yes, and you can enroll for next year by going to mynhusd.org. Right there, the button is the first thing you see. Don't forget to enroll.
Great,
All right.
great plug, Madam.
Thank you, thank you. I'm enjoying seeing our signs on buses every time I turn around on the street and there's a bus. I'm like, there it is.
I got so excited.
So we see so many, now it's become a game of like, you know, judging which ones are applied best. Okay, trustee Chu.
So I'm so glad to see your new website. So it has been a long time coming, as it has been said. So I remember from in 2010 when I got first elected and making these comments, you know, how come this school district has such and such information? How come we don't have it? So thank you finally. So I'm gonna improve it a little bit. I didn't get a chance to take a look at all the tabs and where the information is right and not. So I will kind of get a better best and then I'll give it back to you. Thank you so much for spearheading it. Trust me, Shira. It was a lot of work. Thank you.
I'm also on that committee. So yeah, it's been a lot of meetings. Okay, so the next is the report from the Policy Review Committee. I believe that we have some policies on the consent agenda tonight, which are mostly updates of existing policies to be in compliance with current law. So we didn't see anything worth noting in any of that. It was all pretty standard. So we hope we'll approve them. And our last meeting is March 24th, and our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for June 14th. Yes, sir. Do you have anything there? Okay. 10.4 other committee reports. Yes, I'm looking at you. Sorry, you couldn't hear me?
Oh, sorry. New England Schools Foundation. So scholarship program this year gave out $166,000 to our high school students. The luncheon will be at the Performing Arts Center at Logan on 5/24 at 11 o'clock. Go to the New Haven Schools Foundation website for more information and to buy tickets. And related to that, one of the things that I don't think a lot of people see, if you sponsor a scholarship, you know this. We use the software called the WordSpring, and that handles all of the applicant tracking, the applicant qualification. It handles even the review process as well as the awarding process. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. It costs the foundation about $5,000 per year. One of the things that I'd like to kind of put out to the board here is to see if there's a way that our board can offset, at least help offset some of the costs of that program. Obviously not asking for any action today, but I just want to have the, either, and maybe I can do this at a later part of the agenda, but maybe to have the staff look at a proposal that we either pay for or at least contribute to the purchase of that software license, because it is something that directly affects our high school seniors. And so that's something that I would like for the staff to explore. I will bring it up again when we're giving direction to the staff. That's the other thing. The other thing is classroom grants. Every year the foundation budgets anywhere between $28,000 and $30,000 for classroom grants. And invariably every year the requests come in well over $100,000. And this year, we're in those meetings, and a lot of times board members will just say, you know what, I'll go ahead and sponsor that. I'll go ahead and sponsor that. And this year was no exception. So even though we only had, I forgot what the exact budget number was, but it was probably about half of what we ended up sponsoring. We will be granting about $60,000 to classroom teachers for a variety of different projects. Tomorrow at 4 at the ESC here will be a gathering that Helen and a few members of the foundation board will kind of celebrate all the work that we're going to be doing, or all of the grants that we'll be giving out. So come, if you've got some time, swing by. I have a committee meeting, so I might just swing by a little bit early and just kind of hang out. And then last thing, Stars on Stage is a new event, which is it's a fundraiser. It'll be on June 4th at 7 p.m. I believe it's at the Performing Arts Center. It's called Stars on Stage. So it's like a talent show.
When tickets be available.
On the website. Helen is actually working on the functionality. So. Okay, that's it from the foundation.
It's June 4th, right?
June 4th, yes.
Okay. I will be performing.
Nice.
We'll be there.
Yes, I will be singing opera, and Mrs. Rivera, the music teacher at Kittyama, will be accompanying me. Yes. And many other talented students and staff and alumni will be there too.
I know you have some talent too, I know that.
Will you be performing?
No.
Okay.
It certainly is, yeah.
Are there any other committee reports? I think you gave your MVROP report.
Yes, I gave, and we had a self-publishing actually. Also, I attended one of the Indian Special Olympics games. They are coming on May 6th. This is on my calendar, and I invite my fellow board members if they can accommodate in their schedule, please join us. And then we need to schedule our city and the school board joint committee. I think it's time.
Yeah, we rescheduled it.
So that's it.
Is that a nod or?
No, the request was to wait to reschedule until we finalize the joint use agreements that we're working on. That was the request that came through. I think it was from, correct me if I'm wrong. I there was a request that came through to hold off scheduling a meeting until we were further along or finalized the joint use agreements we're working on, the land swap agreements. So we can reach out and see if they want to, I know they're moving forward in slow spurts, but we can see what the next date is. I don't think we have anything official.
There's nothing official.
Okay.
Yeah, we asked for that, because that last swap thing has been going on for years, so it should be finalized. So if you can please update us about the status of that.
Well, it's the ball is in their court. They owe us, I think, correct me if I'm wrong with someone, but I think everything, we have the latest revisions all over on their side of things. And Ms. Helen was very good about reminding them, but there's a lot going on and we can't control the pace at which the work gets done over there. I know there's interest, but it's moving forward, and I think we've made more progress in the last couple of year and a half than we had probably in many years prior to that, but it's a long time.
Maybe then, because if that's the case, it has been going on for years, so maybe we need to discuss some kind of timeline.
That'd be a good discussion at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Well, we'd like to have a meeting by the end of the year, yeah. So let's make sure we tell them about that. Thank you, and request that we do meet. Okay. Any other committees? Oh, AXPA, yes, sorry. So many moving parts. Okay, that is 28th. Our next AXPA meeting is going to be virtual on April 28th. That's a Thursday at 6:30 p.m.
6 o'clock.
Oh,
Right after our meet and greet at IBC.
okay.
Fortunately, Zoom, so.
On Zoom.
You don't have to be flying.
So please come. Yes. You're all invited to attend. Anything else? Okay. Section 11 is action items. We are at 11.1. Resolution number 040-2122, Transgender Day Visibility, March 31st, 2022. I would like to read it, if you don't mind. Sure. So whereas 1 million Americans are transgender and have overcome significant hardships to build vibrant and thriving communities, often in the face of systemic and interpersonal prejudice, discrimination, and violence. And whereas transgender is an umbrella term which encompasses all people who are intersex, gender expansive, agender, differently gendered, gender creative, gender variant, gender queer, non-binary, gender fluid, gender neutral, bigender, androgynous, gender nonconforming, gender diverse, or anyone else who does not identify with the sex that they were assigned at birth. And whereas we cannot simply celebrate visibility without also recognizing that it does not always equal justice. Still, far too many trans people, particularly trans women of color, continue to face profound threats to their safety, lives, and well-being. And whereas we also celebrate the beauty and resilience of trans people through history and of those who are with us today, and we recognize that trans people have contributed and continue to contribute in a myriad of ways to the betterment of our society and our school district, often working at the forefront of social justice activism and human rights work. And whereas trans people, and in particular trans women of color, including Sylvia Rivera, Donna Persona, Miss Major, and Marsha P. Johnson, were instrumental in the creation of the modern LGBTQ+ rights movement in the United States, from the 1966 Compton cafeteria riot in San Francisco to the Stonewall riots in 1969, to the creation of radical new civil rights organizations. And whereas trans and gender nonconforming Americans have made profound strides in challenging social and political norms that have forced many to live in secrecy regarding their gender identity, sentenced them to coercive medical and psychological treatments, and denied them employment and housing opportunities. And whereas civil rights victories won by trans activists have expanded judicial recognition of constitutional protections for gender identity and expression, and provided a greater number of people with the basic protections needed to ensure human dignity and self-determination. However, these rights are still not universally guaranteed, with laws varying by state and locality and regressive measures still being pursued. And whereas, as a result of determined activism and advocacy, trans people now serve as religious and educational leaders, reach the highest levels of athletic competition, starring film and television, and serve in prominent government positions, beginning to reverse many years of tragic exclusion. And whereas we recognize and celebrate the work that is being done by trans advocacy groups to continue to fight for dignity and equal rights for members of the trans community, to build inclusive and healing spaces, and to protect and defend those who are most vulnerable, including people with disabilities and those in prison. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District will commemorate Transgender Day of Visibility on March 31st, 2022, and fly the Transgender Pride flag at all district sites during the week of March 28th through April 1st, 2022. Passed and adopted on this 19th day of April, 2022. May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 040-2122, Transgender Day of Visibility, March 31st, 2022.
So moved.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canlis.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwindel.
Aye.
No discussion, huh? This section, I don't know, it's a point of order. Oh.
Still aye.
It's still aye, so we could have said something, but that's fine, next time.
Okay. Next item is resolution number 0562122, recognition of classified employee appreciation week.
I don't think you typically read these, but you
Okay.
accept the board.
May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 56-2122, classified appreciation week?
So moved.
Second,
Is there any discussion?
yeah. So, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing those resolutions forward. And regarding all of the 11.1, 11.2, 11.3, and 11.4, we appreciate all of our employees, their work. And also, I am glad that we have started some, taking some actions relating to these resolutions as were visible in the last another Transgender Day of Visibility and even the African American Black History Month. So hopefully we will be keep improving on having those actions taken. This is a true educational opportunity for our students and for our staff to celebrate these resolutions and as well as having some actions to educate them. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canlis.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwindel.
Aye. Next is 11.3, resolution number 057-2122, certificated employee appreciation week. May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 057-2122, recognition of certificated employee appreciation week.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
So as we have shared for the last celebration, some of the activities or pictures, I appreciate that if we can have some kind of reporting for these resolutions in the future as well, if it's possible. I know we do have some activities like sometimes luncheon, or maybe we can have,
Sir.
Go ahead, we got sidetracked. What was the question?
no, I'm just asking that if we can report back on some of the resolution like we have started, if we can, if it's possible for the staff to report back on these resolutions as well.
Yeah, our plan is to report back on as many as we can. Not every resolution will necessarily have things that we're doing, but there, I know all of our sites will have something going on for these resolutions.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mallory.
Aye. Next is item 11.4. May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 058-2122, recognition of School Administrator Appreciation Week.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mallory.
Aye. Our next item is item 11.5, proposed reorganization of alternative programs, as we discussed earlier. May I have a motion and a second to accept this proposed reorganization of alternative programs?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No discussion. Thank you so much for explaining this and our information items.
All right, roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mallory.
Aye. Our next item is 11.6, which are the approval of job descriptions for the Director of Teaching and Learning and the Coordinator of Teaching and Learning. And these are for the positions that will be created by the organization that was proposed that we just accepted. So do I have a motion and a second to approve the job descriptions for Director of Teaching and Learning and Coordinator of Teaching and Learning?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Comment.
Thank
you so much for clearly delineating the criteria for and the requirements for these positions. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mallory.
Aye. Our next item, 11.7, consideration of student number 1, which was recommended for expulsion. May I have a motion and second to expel student number 1 for the remainder of the 2021-2022 school year and the first semester of the 2022-2023 school year, and then we will suspend the enforcement of the expulsion for the 2022-2023 fall semester.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? We should have discussion on this. Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mallory.
Aye. 11.8, approval of the governance handbook. May I have a motion and a second to approve our governance handbook for 2022?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Campbell.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mallory.
Aye. Item 11.9 is the proposed calendar of our regular board meetings for 2022-2023 school year. May I have a motion and a second to approve the proposed calendar of regular board meetings for the 2022-2023 school year?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Comment.
Yes?
So this is the only one board item which clerk, actually most actually his job to compile this job for doing it. So one my comment is to add the start of the time for our open meeting. Because even today it has happened, somebody spoke at our closed session in the beginning of the meeting. So it has come to my notice, some board members have mentioned, I know it's mentioned somewhere, we know it as board members that starts at 6:30. But I think we need to have the board start, board meeting start time mentioned maybe more than one place in the beginning of the, when we have the agenda somewhere there. If we can add one or two more times, I can discuss it with you after that. Yeah.
It is on the actual attachment. It says at the bottom of the
Yes,
list.
here, it says on the bottom. not
So you
the-
want it in the actual item. itself.
Yeah, maybe on the, even when the, when the board docs on the public side, if we go on the top, sometimes we have to kind of look where is the start time. For the public, it is for their convenience. If we can add there, take a look, you know, if there's a need to, I noticed it. Thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canlis.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schweikauer.
Aye. All right, next is 11.10, the approval of the continuity of services plan. Can I have a motion and a second to approve our continuity of services plan?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No, thank you so much for the providing us the information ahead of time.
Wonderful. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Canlis.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schweikauer.
Aye. 11.11 is, do I have a motion and second to approve the facility use agreement with Hayward Area Recreation and Park District for the field area at Conley Curve Valley High School?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Just a point of clarification around, just ensuring that our Connolly students still have access to the, you know, to the field for their activities. I just wanted to just call that out. As we discussed.
Yes, it's this one, this agreement here is the utility, access agreement, and the second one is the use of the parking lot, and the third, oh, I'm sorry, no, you're right.
Right, this is the
11.11, the one we're on
facility
now, yeah, is
Yeah.
for, to ensure, sorry, highlighting the wrong item.
Confusing.
And I need my glasses on again. Anyway, this does ensure that our students will be able to use the facility during normal school times for as long as there is a school on that property.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
thank you, then I have no concerns.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canlis.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schweikauer.
Aye. Next item is the approval of the reciprocal utility line and access easements with Hayward Area Recreation and Park District. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the two reciprocal utility line and access easements with Hayward Area Recreation and Park District?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I'll just point out that I asked this question in closed session, and we will be paying our utility bills and HUD will be paying their utility bills. There's nothing in this agreement that makes us have to pay each other's bills. So I'm great with that. So roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canlis.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schweikauer.
Aye. Item 11.3, may I have a motion and a second to approve the vehicular and pedestrian use easement with Hayward Area Recreation and Park District?
11.13. So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion, please. Any
Comment.
Yes, go ahead.
So I just wanted to say thank you for our staff and working with the attorneys to make sure that our students, they have continuous access, and then we safeguard our rights, so to speak, to this property to have access. And making sure that, in the future that our students, they can still use that property. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canlis.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schweikauer.
Aye. Item 11.14. May I have a motion and second to approve the 2021-2022 James Logan High and Cesar Chavez Middle Comprehensive School Safety Plan?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
What exactly are we voting on for this one Because from what I see in the JLHS one, we have a lot of teachers that are no longer there, but their names are still on the evacuation zones. So like it shows that they're an evacuation zone supervisor and they're not, no longer a teacher on our campus. So I'm just curious as to what's being voted on or with this, especially after Friday, kind of a eye opener of who is zone supervisors and all that, when it's gonna be updated, different things like that. Because even the school site council, from what I can recall, the last time we discussed this was in September or October.
That's a good point.
Yeah, if those are not accurate, then my suggestion is we pull this plan and vote on the CCMS one and then send it back to Logan for review. I know we've had quite a few changes mid-year, and if it's not accurate, we'll fix it.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say mid-year, we have a teacher on there from when the pandemic had started. It was his last year with our district. And I don't know CCMS teachers, so I'm not sure if that's even updated accurately, if Logan's isn't.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say if JLHS is like that, then are we sure CCMS is up to date?
We can table it and bring it back.
Table the whole.
Yeah, so I believe you would like to make a motion to table this item to our next meeting.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, can we pass this by acclamation?
You just don't vote, and then if the item dies, and it comes back next time.
And then I want to know, because we do have a school site council meeting on Thursday, will this be brought to the school site council chair? That way, either the chair or administrators aware, at least an incident commander, should I say?
Well, yeah, I would hope that it would be brought back, but that's something we'll have to have staffs and interact with Mr. Polk and make sure the system is updated correctly.
And Mr. Want to for the system
Yes.
as well. And thank you so much, Wendy Calvin, for catching up those, because it's a long agenda and we need to have many eyes to, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, this is a very good example of why student voices are so important. So since we have a substitute motion, we should vote on that motion. To table.
Okay, was the motion to table? Then yes.
Yeah.
that would-
Yes, that's a substitute motion. So the motion on the table is to table this. That's what we're voting on. We're going to table these school safety plans to our next board meeting.
And bring the update to one that sometimes in the next.
Yeah, till the next board meeting, at which point they will have been updated.
Right.
So let's do a roll call for that.
Calderon.
Aye.
Camus.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Shiba.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schoenauer.
Aye. Item 11.14 has been tabled so that it can be updated and brought to us at our next meeting. 11.15, may I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 050-2122, approval of a pool of consultants to provide special inspection and materials testing services for the district's construction projects.
Someone.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Question, do we need to have this, I know in the narrative to say that it's required. So, is there any timeline for these, engineering firms to be on our, the list of the approved consultants? That how long they will be on our list?
5 years.
5 years?
They will be on the list.
And are these, is it a new or something that we have used them before or what?
As noted, these types of services are required for every public works that we put together. Some of these we may have used before, but the whole idea is to really open it up for a public process so that at each project, we actually could save time rather than for each project, do this process individually per project. Right now, similar to the process that we've done for our architects, where we establish a pool, We still do the same bidding process and competitive process. We invite them to propose, to submit a proposal. We still do the same evaluation process. This is just for this area of required services. It's really similar to the process that we do for architects. So some of these, while I'm not very familiar with them, I could call on Mr. Naidu. But essentially, they all submitted a proposal and they all met the criteria that we were looking for. And they are all registered and all have the right licenses. So it really just aids our staff with regards to the timeline for every project that we have. It's, the next item is actually a similar idea.
So sometimes I do see when the companies, many companies that take on our process, they are not from this list, but they're from, outside. So how does that work?
It depends on the service. Now remember, there is also a portal that is kept and maintained by the Department of Industrial Relations. Yes. We do make sure that if we pull, depending on the type of service and scope of work, that we only pull from those who are registered by the Department of Industrial Relations. Forgetting the acronym.
So, also, I think I was looking at I forgot the name of that bill, 875, I believe, yeah. So they are supposed to furnish us with a list of their some qualifications. There's a list, I forgot the name of that list. So I would like to see that list of their qualifications in the future sometimes, not today. Yeah. That's it, thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yes.
Roll call please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Camus.
Aye.
Nishihira.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwanthaler.
Aye. We're on item 11.16. Do I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 051-2122, approval of a pool of consultants to provide hazardous materials, hazmat, testing services for the district's construction projects?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Camus.
Aye.
Nishihira.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwanthaler.
Aye. Item 11.17, do I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 053-2122, award of bid for the exterior painting and repair project at Hillview Crest Elementary School?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I noticed there is so much discrepancy between all the bids we have received. So did the staff evaluate why there is so much a kind of gap between their bid price?
So the difference is from the lowest to the second lowest is what 180 to 100 grand. The reason being is that the lowest bidder is just specializes in painting. Is a typical painting contractor. The others they are painting contractors, but they have other licenses, so they have more overheads.
I see.
Since this is basically a mom and pop kind of company. And
Yeah, I mean, the first one, the color new company, look at this, is like 3 times.
And then they have also, they have proved themselves worthy because they have done it at Pioneer, they're the same contractors in that Pioneer at the lowest price.
I see, okay.
So they have a track record with us.
I was surprised to see that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I just want to comment that I'm very excited that we're doing this. So you guys can use some love. All right, roll call please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Camus.
Aye.
Nishihira.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwanthaler.
Aye. We're on item 11.18. Do I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 054-2122, award bid for the roof replacement project at Cesar Chavez Middle School?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call
Oh,
please.
no, sorry. Actually, I asked before in my questions, but, so might have overlooked it. So what was the reason why were we replacing this roof?
It's leaking capacity.
I know, but I never came to information. Maybe we can have some, few lines if this has been leaked during the test and stuff. So it needs to be, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Roll call please.
Baldwin. Aye. Campbell.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Swinburne.
Aye. We're on item 11.19. May I have a motion in a second to adopt resolution number 055-2122, authorization to award RFP number 822, district-wide HVAC installation and energy infrastructure project upgrade.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
So the discussion is, I am looking for any cost, relating to this item number. Is there any cost?
Not yet.
Not yet. So I know at BAC, this, has come to the board approval for many times, and I know sometimes we do get emails from some teachers that, their air conditioning is not working, this and that stuff. So if you can, in a nutshell, if you can explain it to us, what happened?
So this really, the COVID kind of disrupted this, but we were looking into a comprehensive energy efficiency, repair, comprehensive, whatever the system might be. You may remember some of those presentations at some point. So in a way, it actually worked out to our benefit because SR2 funding actually had specific language with regards to indoor quality. So this actually is giving us that kind of synergy, plus the money that we were able to generate from Prop 39 a couple of years ago. So to address your first comment of there is no cost involved, there isn't at this point because the project hasn't necessarily been scoped out yet. The difference in this particular one is that it is a design build. We're looking for a provider that could actually, as I noted on that item, a turnkey approach, meaning they take it, they take it from beginning to end. They will design it, they will implement it, they will project manage it, and we would have the leverage in terms of negotiating that scope. Think of it as bundling. They're going to look at our different systems, whether it's lighting, HVAC. They will look at those things and bundle the most efficient and the most meaningful way for us in terms of ROI, and we get the most bang for our buck. And of course, addressing our oldest systems and facilities, most of it would fall under the HVAC area is what we are expecting to see. So as I noted on there, what's coming next after they do the audit and the bundling or the scoping out would then be a contract. After staff had vetted it and have looked at it, would then be presented to you as part of the agreement and a cost at that point.
So during the COVID, I do remember that we have the latest filters in over at VAC. So what was that then?
MERS 13.
Yeah.
Yes. We've actually installed those, even in the oldest systems that we've had. And as you can imagine, and I know we've talked about this a lot, especially under COVID. Many of our systems, as old as they were, we did test. I remember doing some tests on the different age and systems that we've had. They actually were able to accommodate a higher grade filtering system. The remedy was for us to change them more frequently. So our systems are working, but they do need improvement. If we don't do this, then the cost would be more on the back end. Therefore, we're looking into this as a comprehensive efficiency, as well as addressing our oldest systems in the district. And we get SR2 money, as well as some of it would be backfilled by the bond. So we're going to wait and see what kind of bundling or what kind of efficient bundles we're going to see from these vendors before we can make that decision on what to present to you next time.
So also I would like to know that how old our HVAC systems are and what is the industry standard usually. So that will give us the more fair kind of, the condition of our systems. So I would appreciate that information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canvas.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwannbauer.
Aye. Okay, we're on item 11.20. May I have a motion and a second to ratify an agreement with Clark Civil Engineering for topographic surveying services for improvement projects at Hillview Crest Elementary School?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Again, so I do see, I know topographic maps, once we have it, they can be used in the future anytime. But I was wondering that we have a new parking lot at Hillview Crest. So do we still need this service? We do get it.
You remember correctly, one of the first projects that we did, based on Measure M was actually the parking area there.
Yeah.
Recent feedback from our administrator is that it could improve because at this point, there's one way to come in and one way to go. So in looking at that flow, and this is gonna be part of that work, this is still part of that assessment, is that it could improve, additional improvement on that traffic by doing I'm not sure I'm using the right term, we can now have two flows of traffic. So that there's no bottleneck in terms of only one way to get in and only one way to get out.
I see. I know as comparing to the other bond projects, it's just peanuts, so, it's not too much, but, I was just wondering, want to know that, what was happening. Thank you.
That's a result of a recent sidewalk that we did actually. So that's one of the things that came up. So we're gonna look into it.
Thank you.
It's also a board requested a traffic audit of the different schools, and so this is one of the things we could do to improve traffic at that school.
Yeah, but, I don't think, do we have the traffic problems at that school? I don't think so, because it's the, student population and the location of the school.
Every school has traffic problems.
They all have traffic problems.
I see. Okay, thank you. I know, I mean, schools they are, but the student population is less and then.
Yeah.
Neighborhood is kind of, okay, that's fine.
To clarify, the amount with Clark Civil Engineering is 22,800, and it includes special education, restrooms, playground structures, and the parking lot. So it's only a portion of that.
Yeah.
Just make sure we know. Okay, roll call please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canvas.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
Um,
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwannbauer.
Aye. Okay, we have item 11.21. Can I get a motion and a second to ratify our contract with Arcane Associates, DBA Escon Builders for floor installation at Pioneer Elementary School?
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion?
I'm glad that this is happening. This is the one I think the teachers, they were sending us the emails. Thank you.
Okay, roll call please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canvas. I'm sorry.
You just drank water.
Ishihara. Chima.
I lost it.
Aye.
I'm gonna start. Calderon.
Aye.
Canvas.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwannbauer.
Aye. Okay. Item 11.22. May I have a motion and a second to approve an agreement with Mentos Inspection and Associates, Inc. for inspection services for the solar photovoltaic systems project at Pioneer and Cyrilles Elementary Schools. That's a new vocabulary.
So moved.
second,
Okay, discussion. Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canvas.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Chima.
aye,
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwannbauer.
Aye. We've lost it. Okay. Consent agenda. Are there any items which trustees have questions or need clarification or like pulled for separate vote?
I have a, so do we have, no, we don't have to have a motion and stuff, right?
No,
Just-
if you want to pull it, it will get pulled. So just say which
I have a
item.
comment for the 12.1.
12.1, okay, so we'll pull that. Are there any other items you wish to pull? Okay. May I have a motion and a second to approve as consent agenda items 12.2 through 12.35?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canvas.
Aye.
Nishihira.
Aye.
Chiba.
Um,
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwenthaler.
Aye. Concerning, now we're in section 13. Discussion and action on items removed from consent agenda. Give me a second. And at this point, we will entertain a motion and a second for 12.1 to approve the minutes of the March 8th, 2022 regular board meeting.
Point of order.
Hmm.
Just to verify that last motion, did we exclude that item from?
Yes, we did. I said 12.2 through 12.35.
Okay, got it.
Now we are talking about 12.1. I would like a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the March 8th, 2022 regular board meeting.
So moved.
Second. Okay, discussion. The discussion is, I sent it in the email, actually, there was several spelling mistakes in the comments provided by the public, so I don't know if we can move forward and still correct those, amend those minutes, or how do we want to do that?
Again, I didn't read any, if you sent an email this afternoon, I don't.
I know you didn't say this right, so, but I will mention that, so how do we?
If there are minor fixes to spellings, and I don't know what is it?
I will provide it to you.
Yeah, and then I would say that we can, you could make a motion to approve the minutes from March 8th with,
I got it.
Okay, can I have a, so we're going to make a friendly amendment for a motion that the minutes will be approved with the corrections, the spelling corrections.
So, there is a little bit more clarification in the email I mentioned. So how do we capture, because in the Zoom sometimes, we cannot hear it clearly. How do we capture what they're saying, the other speakers?
I go back and read the board meetings and listen as best I can to everything that everybody says.
I
And
see.
sometimes it is even difficult.
It's difficult. I understand that it's difficult.
But I spend a lot of time going back to capture as much as possible our community saying.
Oh,
especially
I see, I see. I just want to know, this is the first time I realized that, it has happened, it happened before too, because of the Zoom, okay, okay, it can stay with the amendment, so let's go vote.
Okay, any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Aye.
Canvas.
Aye.
Nishihira.
Aye.
Chiba.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Schwenthaler.
Aye. Item 14.1, under governance review, assessment of governance procedures and protocols. Do we have any trustee adults?
Yeah, this is a kind of aside from this assessment, but going back to item 11.14, approval of Logan and then the CCMS comprehensive school safety plan. So not only Logan, but also CCMS, I see an error in there on the part. And I'm saying this now, so you can quickly refer to them. It's the 1.2 evacuating a building. It's station 5 and 6. This is for the leader of that teacher is no longer at that school anymore. So they need to update that also. So that's it.
Okay, so. Trustee Nishihira?
As for the protocol that we go through when in closed session during expulsion hearings, during the next governance session, we should probably cover the closed session process so that we ensure that we have a buttoned up protocol for dealing with those interactions with various parties.
I agree.
Where are we collecting all the topics for governance? Do we have a place where we're collecting all that?
You could send them either to the board president or to me or to Lori, and we'll curate them.
Yes.
And I'm actually going to add that right now to the.
Our board secretary, Dr. Thompson, will have them for our list. All right, trustee Camus.
I need a clarification regarding our governance procedure on the agenda items that we receive ahead of time for reading. If we have questions regarding whatever, we're on 14.1, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if we have questions regarding any of the materials, I think it's important to ask those questions before we sit here on Tuesday night, because it is and it's respectful to waste all the other boards' time who have read the materials and asked the questions ahead of time, and instead of asking them here. I mean, I can understand if you have 2 or 3 questions because you missed them, but to have questions on so many of the items, it really is not a good use of our time.
Any other comment on governance? Yes.
So, and one thing is that we need to have an efficient board meeting and in a timely fashion, like it has been mentioned right now by the trustee Ellis. But at the same time, it's board's responsibility to educate the public who is watching and other members of maybe student board members to share all those questions. We are not sharing even the questions the trustee Melissa Shimmerly has asked. Staff has shared those questions with the board members, but I don't think is there any mechanism for them to share with the general public that these questions has been asked from the board, and then so the public knows that the board is not the spent, that they do ask the questions and they get answered. So I think the board meeting is another avenue to share those questions with the board members and also with the public. So I do see it that way. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to take the point of president and say something and then move the meeting. In our governance sessions, we have discussed that we should be asking our questions to the staff ahead of time, because then they have the ability to gather the information necessary to answer the questions. As board members, we have the discretion to decide if we should call something out, like some of us did tonight. You know, saying, I'd like to say, for example, my silly comment about nobody's paying anybody else's bills, right? That we asked that question and it got answered. Most of my questions, which you just made reference to, were in regards to an item in closed session, and that should not be shared with the public. So sometimes your questions are just for your information. Sometimes they're for the public's information. And, you know, it's up to us to make that discretion. But even if you have questions you want the public to hear, you should ahead of time send those questions to the staff in a timely enough answer for them to answer them.
Yeah, that's well, may I speak?
Trustee Nishihara.
I think I take exception with the position that the function of this meeting is to educate the public on the ongoings of and operations of the school district. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct business. And so in some instances where it is the point really is to educate and be transparent with the public on specific things, then absolutely. So for example, your comment about paying the water bills is perfectly, but that is to call attention and transparency to a specific issue. But the purpose of this meeting, this is our meeting to conduct business in an efficient way. And that all includes board members coming to the meeting, having asked all their questions. And in some cases, we will re-ask the questions in open session so that the public can hear the answer, perfectly fine. But as a matter of actually trying to get genuine questions answered by the staff needs time to be able to gather those answers. And those types of questions extend this meeting way longer than it needs to be, and it could be much more efficient. That's just my kind of.
Yes, Trustee Chima. Yes, so I know the governance also calls for, but then seeing this meeting has a lot of stuff on it, it's a lot of items. And life happens, there are things in life that, there are situations that you cannot reach at the time. But I said some of my questions, but I do with that understanding that the staff might not have time today to respond to all of those questions, but they can provide those answers even later on. So it's not like a requirement that's set in the stone that you cannot ask a question here. But yes, it's a good practice to ask as many questions at a time, as much as you can. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to move this discussion to our next governance session, if we can do that.
Great idea.
Thank you.
I'll add it, and I'll just add that if you send me an email with questions the day of a board meeting or the night before, I was booked today from 7 a.m. through the board meeting, so I'll do my best, but if you really want to, you guys would need more time.
That's the best time to send them by Sunday.
That would be perfect.
Okay, all right. Are there any other topics for governance procedures and protocols? Okay, do we have any board member requests? Trustee Ishihara.
As I mentioned in my earlier readout, I would like to direct staff to explore the process by which we would allocate funds to the foundation in the amount of roughly $5,000 per year for the Award Spring software scholarship application software, and then to bring it back to the board for discussion and action.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
How is it funded right now?
Right now, the executive director goes out and tries to get sponsors from the community, and that puts a strain on the foundation's unrestricted budget. So,
And the other question is, are the funds that we have collected that are not designated for students could be used as a grant to the foundation, or is that?
I think actually that's something that the actual form that it takes, I think is probably part of the recommendation from staff. Is like, the form, any type of agreement or any types of things like that, that should be part of the staff recommendation, I believe.
So they're seeking for addition?
No, currently the school district is not currently funding this at all. Right now, the system which benefits our students is being community funded. And since this has a direct impact on our students, this might be something that the board should consider helping to fund.
So the foundation might have something with operational budget. I believe, I don't know the functioning of the foundation. So if they can still solicit from that operational budget, this is the ongoing expenditure. Because at one point, foundation was part of the school district, and there was a reason that foundation separated itself from the school district, so that.
And what was that reason?
Huh?
What was that reason?
To operate it independently, basically, to have executive director, there's part of the salary and whatever the operational cost is. I think I do feel that they should be independent, that's the way they are. There are other non-profit organizations, they might be providing services. One of the examples is the village method. And then those non-profits, they will be asked for they might be asking for the similar assistance then.
Okay, we can take that up as one of the advantages or disadvantages, and then the board can take action accordingly. So.
Okay, do we have a consensus that we want this report? Was your comment about this? No. Okay. Is there board consensus that we can move forward with at least a report about? Pardon? We have to reach consensus in order for it to be a request of staff. So do we agree that staff should, bring back the report and we can talk about this later about helping with the operating funds for the New Haven School Foundation?
We can talk about it later on.
I see basically thumbs up for consensus, so we'll prepare that.
Okay, we will. All right. Student board member Calderon.
Mine's quick, just if all school site councils can take a reevaluation of the school comprehensive safety plans. Just if we've had site changes, staff changes across the district, I think it's important that not only every site is aware of all the changes, but the district and the board is aware. Especially because this is a very big thing, it's a safety thing, it's a public safety thing with a lot of our students. So I think reevaluating, updating at every school site council meeting, hopefully by the end of the year, and then again, when it comes time, for rehiring or whatever the case may be at the start of the next school year, it's important that all these documents be updated and provided to the board.
I really appreciate that comment.
Yeah, we are actually in the process of looking at the way that with the timing of this in general, anyway, so we'll incorporate that into the process. It's actually already happening, we'd like to do things a little differently next year, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that defeats the purpose of operating and bringing to the board every year if we are not updating them at all, so, and not making the changes. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a request. The students of the Chakra movement came and spoke to us about Narcan and substance abuse education on March 8th. And they're asking that we make a Narcan more readily available. Right now, it's only at the nurse's office. They would like 75% of the student body to get certified to use Narcan next year, and 90% of teachers and school administrators, and to breaking the stigma and have some education about substance abuse on campus. And I would request that this be looked at to happen at middle school and high school campuses. So I would like the staff to review these requests and let us know if it can happen or not, or how much can we do. So I'd like that to be on a future agenda.
Or if you have any update or any input for this request.
Well, I mean, for starters, I don't think we can have students issuing, administering Narcan to other students as there's a lot there. I will have to take a look and break that down.
Yeah, they're asking maybe that there be Narcan available in each homeroom or just at least one in every building. There are a whole bunch of issues that go along with that. We'd have to break it down and take a look at that piece by piece by piece.
Can I maybe add on to the request?
Yeah.
Just to make it simpler, identify the purpose of Narcan and instances in which, at least for our school sites, Narcan would have been helpful in, I mean, I understand Narcan to be an anti-narcotic, right?
It stops someone from dying from an overdose.
From an overdose.
Yeah.
So I guess like the question that we should ask is overdosing something that happens in our school at some rate by which having Narcan in classes or would be a benefit or something like around feasibility or.
Yeah, well, due to the nature of these overdoses and deaths that are caused by them, it's a very quick thing, and if you don't have it readily available, you could lose somebody who could have been saved. And I think one student overdosing on campus and dying is one too many. So that's why I'm making this request.
What I can say is if you can send whatever you got to us, we'll take a look at it and see what we have in place and then what we may be omitting. And I can certainly we can do that.
I'll forward it to you. I'm sorry. They sent it to the whole board, so I thought you had a copy. but you are not, so I will
That's what I
report it to you. Yeah, so we can just look at the legality and, you know, I just want to follow up on this because these students took a lot of time to come and speak to us and they have a point. And especially about the substance abuse education, just to see what we're doing now and like how we can increase awareness.
Is that, it? Like I said, I haven't seen that, so.
Yeah, I
send
just
it,
forwarded to you,
I'll
yeah.
take a look and we'll see. I want the first part.
Or if there is if there are any statistics available, not only for the school district, maybe California wide or whatever, but how many cases we have heard or know about the overdoses and what happened, that kind of stuff. This is the first time I am having this kind of information available to me.
Yeah, and just to, you know, I'm not aware of any cases in 3 years where we've had issued Narcan, but I do agree with President Schwinn-Mallory that one overdose death would be one too many. Even though we've been lucky, we haven't had one that I'm aware of at all on any of our school sites.
Student Alvin, did you have anything to say on this?
I just hope we can figure it out. I mean, one student's way too many, again, that's what ties into our report, mental health is important. Connecting with students is important, and I think our board, especially our executive cabinet, Superintendent Thompson, administrators did a great job of, you know, having that relationship with the student, but again, one's way too many, so if we can figure it out, get the legality of it, look at it, you know, work with the students and their needs, that's all you have to do, and students will be happy, at least to me.
Yeah, I think that my request is twofold. One is look at increasing the presence of Narcan on our campus and how can we make it more readily available. And two is to increase our education on substance abuse. I feel like there's been enough of those issues this year that we should definitely look at that. So the consensus.
Take a look and bring that position to us.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll take a look.
Any more? Okay, and with that, I would like to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you. Okay. So we have a little.
Yeah. I had